Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the channel. Hope you're doing well. We are back in Automobilista 2 this evening. We are going to be checking out the brand new content update, which has gone officially live because we've had it live early on in the week with the release candidate, but now it's actually officially live. They've moved it to full release. So super excited to give this a try. We've got some new content to look forward to. As you can see, we got the Formula Ultimate Gen 2s to look forward to, and some other content as well, which we shall get into. But super excited. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us, and we will do some testing of the new content. So let's jump into the game now and go check out what we've got. Okay, right, let's get myself in here as well. Okay, so here at the home page we are. So we go to the test day, we'll have a look. So obviously, first things first, we have the Formula Ultimate Gen 2. Now, this version is built to the 2022 F1 regulations, so we have the new style bodywork, we have the ground effects going on as well, and it'd be interesting to see if we can induce some porpoising maybe. That's a big thing that's been hounding some of these cars, but got the wheel covers, the full aero package and everything, so interested to see what this is like to drive. So with the Ultimate Gen 2, we've got various funky looking liveries on the go, some nice variations of things in here, some kind of unusual color combinations, but some very nice looking liveries nonetheless. I'm sure we'll get some official content liveries done by some of the modders in the coming days, but so that's the new Formula Ultimate. We also have some more new cars. They're not really new cars. They're kind of, I suppose, updated for this year as well. So Automobilista 2, we know, is big on its stock car content because that's their key license, which they work around. So we have a lot of stock cars within the title. So we also have the 2022 series of stock cars. Now, although they are essentially the same body shells as the previous iterations, which we have here from 21, they have actually done some refining on the tire physics for the cars, so they should be a little bit different to drive compared to the previous stock cars. So of course we got all the liveries which are part of the stock car championship for this coming season, with the Toyota Corolla and of course the Chevy Cruze as well. More Chevys than Toyotas, but yeah, plenty of new and updated liveries available for that. So we'll obviously be giving that a try as well and giving that a drive. But it's not just cars that we've got to play with this evening. We also have tracks. So if we go up from here, we have the Galeao? I'm trying to think how it's said. Galeao Airport. So basically it's the latest addition to the championship as well, because that's going to be happening this weekend actually in the Stock Car Championship. They're going to this particular airport layout, which is, I believe, I think it's Rio. I want to say Rio de Janeiro, but I'm not sure if it is actually, thinking about it. But it's an airport layout anyway, so big wide runways and reasonably basic layout. So we'll see how we get on with that and give it an explore as well. So I guess first off, we're going to have to give the Gen 2 a try. So we're going to run around Spa to start off with and do that. But before we do that, I'm just going to quickly check because we need to map some controls, I believe. Let's go vehicle. So ERS mode is what we're going to be doing, because they've changed the way the electronic deployment happens within the car, so you can actually change the ERS deployment mode. So let's set some buttons on here. So we'll do that one, and we'll do that one. So there we go. So we can go through the different ERS modes. Evening Funky, how are we doing? You doing well? There we go. So let's give the new Formula Ultimate Gen 2 a bit of a drive around Spa-Francorchamps, which is probably one of the best places to try it. And see how we get on. So 1.6 litre V6, as you would expect to find in Formula 1 these days, and just under 1,000 brake horsepower. That's combining the engine and the electric power that goes into these cars as well. So, okay. Before we jump out on track, let's just have a look at the options in terms of setup changes. I'm sure there are many things that you can change. Yes, absolutely. So you've got a whole heap of settings that we can adjust in here. None of which we'll probably get into too much this evening, but we might try and see if we can soften it off and lower it off and see if we can get some bouncing going on just to try and see if it will actually simulate that. But for the time being, let's jump on the track and see how it goes. So obviously the main thing with the latest regulations is using ground effects rather than lots of aero that goes over the top of the car to try and generate that downforce, and also to help with following another car. So you can see over the front wheels we have the little winglets that come up over the top to try and disrupt the dirty air coming off it. Steering wheel's nice and balanced. Now I must say this is not based on an actual current F1 car. It's designed around that kind of regulation, so it's not a direct copy of anything in particular. It's busy trying to not stall on me out of the pit lane. So here we go. So we're currently set to, as you can see on the wheel there, it's got balanced, which I'm assuming is the ERS setting. Let's come out of the pit lane and see if we can change that. Yeah, there we go. Attack, qual, build, and off. So let's do some more research as to what build means, but I'm assuming balance should be pretty straightforward. But here we go. Now we know the Formula Ultimate in Automobilista 2 is a rather quick piece of machinery, and this is going to be the same here. So we've got DRS enabled as well. So there we go. DRS obviously works fine. Just going to build ourselves up driving this car rather than going too mad too soon. Sounds actually really good. I know it's a V6 and it's not to everyone's taste, but as far as simulating the noise that comes from a modern day F1 car, it sounds pretty good to me. Very cool, on we go. Ray's here. Hey Ray! So, he says, I wish they do something about those cheesy looking minor category gloves. Yeah, they look very budgy, don't they? I don't know if that's something that can be skinned as an option, but yeah, they don't look like modern day high spec race gloves at all, do they really? Wash while we go. Down to that stuff. Of course, there's far more gears than you would ever normally expect to find in a race car. So you're constantly on the paddles. So all the way up, 6, 7, and there's an 8th gear as well. I know I'm being very lazy on the downshifts, but I'm still just trying to work out what this car is like. Down towards Overview and ready, on we go. Yes, it was flat through there. We are on our balance. So you can see there's a bar at the bottom of the steering wheel there. You can see how much of the energy we've used so far over the lap. So we've used probably just about a third of the energy already just on that first run. Have a source down the hill. Again, using a little bit out of there. Rivage we go. Will we use some more energy coming out of here, I wonder? Yep. Touch maybe. Here we go. Steve's here. Hey Steve. He says, hi Phil, managed to get the computer upgraded now and the TV works quite good. Oh, typical. Just when you sort one thing out, something else goes wrong. Sorry to hear that. But hopefully we'll be back and running again soon. We'll be here as well. Short info, start trying to featuring me right now. Oh, okay, nice. So you're watching real life qualifying as we're driving this. We'll get onto that one after we try the Formula Ultimate out. So, that's 2 laps. We've done the warming the tyres thing up because obviously modern day F1 you have to have 2 laps to get some temperature in the tyres apparently. So here we go, let's try and push on a little bit more. See what we can do with this. Be a little careful on the throttle, it's a little snappy coming out of there. Nice cut over the inside. Relatively easy through there, no major dramas, as you probably expect with a car of this much downforce. DRS wide open in 8th gear, coming down towards Acom, 4th gear. Too early on the turn, which made us run wide there. Not very stretched, so there's no thank you. Can't know about that one. It's a little bit feisty. So need to be a little bit more careful. Back we go. Hey Martin. Hey, more of your washing flag. Oh, okay. Turn that down a little bit. Just letting me know. Incredible brakes. Right, let's do that quick change because the Formula Ultimate is rather loud, so we'll turn that down just a touch more for you guys. So hopefully it will be a bit easier. Right, go back to the garage then. So very early days, but that's a 1:45.9 on that one. So let's go back out again. Ourselves up to speed a little bit more. And we'll try some of the ERS modes as well and see what it does. That's a little better on the sound levels for you guys. So let's turn that to attack mode. Probably use a lot more of the energy. I didn't actually see how much we used on that other lap. Interesting to see actually. Let's put it back down to balance and see how much it's using. Hopefully there's some tarmac gone off there. There's so many buttons, yeah, the steering wheels are very busy, aren't they, on these things? Not really Funky's cup of tea, I don't think, is it, Funky? It's rather the old school stuff. But so far, this car's actually feeling pretty nice. Using all the track on the way in there. I'm making myself tight going there, not helping things out. So we'll do a lap again on the balanced ERS setting, see how much battery we use. Okay. Here we go, that was turn one. Feeding in a little bit gently through the source of the power. Big hill, over the top, no problem at all. So Noddy says, it's easy to have a rough time again. He did. I've just got up to Q2, I've not seen Q3 yet, but yeah, he had a really hard time of things. Not had a great few races either. Various issues. Each to their own. Yeah, that's fine. It's fair enough. Absolutely. So quick through that. So much grip, but as you can see, there's not really any bouncing in standard form, which is, you know, a lot of people have been saying, well, it's not much of a simulation because these cars do bounce, but at the same time, some of those at the sharp end of the field are most sort the porpoising issues, so just view this as being a very well-sorted F1 car. But as I said, we'll try and see if we can lower the ride heights and soften the car up and see if we can get it bouncing around a little bit. Of interest. So yeah, not an awful lot of energy usage going on over the course of that lap. So let's move it on to attack mode and see what happens. Oops. Too deep into that. Felt quicker to Arusha, as you can see the bar moving on the way down. See there? Not seeing it go back up again, so I don't know if it actually regens under the braking. I'm not really noticing too much, but wow, okay, so it's picking up a lot quicker out of the slow stuff. Things are coming up at me much quicker than they were before. Already coming up to me very, very fast in the previous setting, but even more so now. Spa-Francorchamps in the modern day Formula 1 car is just one of those circuits just flows so well. Yeah, we've almost depleted our battery now. I think it did go up a little bit actually after that. Maybe stopping to the bus stop. Let's try it again here. Oh yeah, so it is regenning. I just wasn't watching. But you can see how much it depletes, and then you've got to do other laps. So this is build mode, so let's see if that actually helps with the regen. Well, I'm assuming that build mode doesn't use any deployment whatsoever. Oh, you can see, yeah, it's just died in 8th gear. And it's already actually regenning now, even though I'm wide open on the throttle. Which is quite cool actually. It makes for a very interesting dynamic. So if you are running it online and you're trying to build your battery levels back up ready for a qualifying lap, if you've had one go and you've depleted everything, there are going to be cars going slowly around a lap and you've got to avoid them if you're in an open qualifying session, so that could be quite interesting. It also helps that there's a rather long lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. It also helps to drag the brake into corners as well with the regen. More time spent on the brake means more energy being put back into the battery, so though we've still not quite got full battery. We'll have to do some brake testing just to help with that. Or do we just cheat and just keep the brake on and accelerate at the same time? No, it only seems to rebuild when you're off the throttle. That's when you're just solidly on the brakes anyway. Right, let's go to... Oops. Pushed the wrong button. What have I pushed there? What have I pushed there? Oh well. Well, we'll go again, and this time we'll do quali mode. Go to pit box. The Moni says open lobbies with this beast are going to be interesting. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Marty. I think it's going to be quite a few people having a go at it, obviously, with it being new content. Yeah, I think it might be tricky for some to get used to. So we'll do the lap in build mode and then we'll switch it to quali mode just before we go for a lap and just see what happens. So currently our quickest lap is a 1:43.8. So we'll see if we can better that with a full all-out attack quali mode run. And just see just how much of a handful this thing is going to be to drive in that mode too. But so far, so good actually with this car. In one way, it actually seems a little bit more edgy to drive compared to the Formula Ultimate, which is very quick and obviously very well stuck to the ground. And this has that as well, but at the same time, there's still that kind of opportunity for it to just break away and not be completely stuck to the ground like glue. So you do have to drive it a little bit. Sure that we keep it going in the right direction. Okay, so this is rebuilding up to a full battery. We want to make sure that it is completely full before we start our qualifying lap, which it is now. So let's just bring that over to qual mode. And then we'll try and get ourselves an exit off here. Really picks up so quick. Just being extra careful on the bottom of that, just because I want to spin. Oh, okay, full quality mode through there. We've got to be a bit sharper on the turn in. DRS open again. Quick through there. I was walking over the track a little bit on the exit of Rivage, so I had to kind of get off the throttle slightly. Oh no. Turned in way too early for the first part of fifth path. Get off the curb. Just tramlining it a little bit there because it was stuck on top of it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's a big lap, isn't driving these things? I mean, you got to think about throttle application, your braking obviously with popping up, and you've got to think about your DRS when you push that, and make sure you're maximising the energy boost as you come off the corner as well, because you've got to make sure when you go on the throttle you commit to it, because you've just got to use all that boost, otherwise you will lose that opportunity when it decides that's enough boost for that particular straight. So you've got to be very committed with the throttle, which is key to getting a quick lap time out of these things. So it was quicker, a 1:43.1, so that was essentially 7/10 up on our previous quickest lap. So big difference with the quality mode engaged. So that's the maximum. So you'd probably run in balance for the race most of the time, I would suggest. Unless of course you fancy trying to get past someone, in which case you put it into attack mode. And then quality is just all out blitz. But you will be very vulnerable the following lap if you have no battery left. So probably best to stay in balanced or attack mode in the race, I would say. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm quite impressed with that actually, in terms of how it drives. We should. Oh no, hang on. We've got to do something on me before we go and throw it in with a race. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Suspension. Then. We want ride height. We want it to drop as low as it can go. Apparently it is. So let's soft as it goes as well. Soften everything right off. Just you would never ever do this, and I wouldn't recommend it probably. But I'm just going to soften everything off just to see what we can do with it. I'm curious. Let's do the same for the sensors as well. So we're just going to be on the absolute softest settings possible. So I did drive these cars on the release candidate before it went officially live. So I don't know if there's been any changes since then. But right, there we go. We are completely soft as soft can be. So some bouncing going on already. We haven't even left the garage. So DCR Works, welcome DCR Works. As a historic fan, this modern beast has me hooked after 200 miles. Great car. Oh, excellent, good. Yes, I'm more of a historic person myself as well. But yeah, I do enjoy a good modern car as well. Carter, hi Carter. How many liveries will it have? It's got quite a few in default form. None of them, of course, are fiction. Sorry, none of them are real-world liveries, but I'm sure there will be some coming. Marcy says, yeah, custom liveries from the modders shouldn't be too long in the coming. They're usually pretty quick to get onto it. These modders. I've not tried livery creation in AMS2 yet. I have done it in other sims, but not giving it a go in this one. I should probably give people a try and do an SRB livery for it, for a vehicle of some sort. So here we go then. Full softs. Let's see. Usually when it gets up to higher speed, when it starts porpoising. Radio. It's bouncing. Maybe not quite as violently as you see on some of the actual F1 cars in the day, but it's bouncing slightly. Nothing else that actually feels ridiculously good, actually. Except that. Except I think I did throw it in just a bit quicker than I was previously, but even though we've gone completely soft on everything, the handling isn't atrocious, really. Maybe not quite as instantly reactive when you turn the wheel as it is when it's stiffened up. It's a little bit slower in its reaction times to turn into a corner. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling bouncing, going through Blanchimont then, and there, the car is bouncing around. So, let's just go to full qual mode there. We haven't got a full battery, but we'll try it anyway. Third gear is not the one for the source, but oh well. Let's hang on to it through here. Oh, missed the apex. The DRS opens, like I'm making a difference to the bouncing. I don't think actually softened it out a bit. Ooh. That's my bad for braking too late and downshifting on the turn-in. Didn't like it. So let's just have a quick look, see if we can... How far back has that gone? Just trying to see if we can see it visually bouncing from the outside. But the car model looks really nice, actually. I mean, obviously it's very similar to the F1 cars as we see them, but it looks very nice indeed. Yeah, there's my ambitious turn in for for Pouhon. External sounds are good too. Loads of track on the outside, which I wasn't using then. This sounds very nice, actually. This sounds very nice. Yeah, it's bouncing, but it's not dramatically bouncing. Nevertheless, we have managed to make it do that, but we've had to go very dramatically with the suspension settings. But that's pretty cool. So I guess what we should do is put it to the test in terms of its what it was designed for in real world F1 is to follow other cars better. So maybe we should put some other cars on track and see how that goes. We'll change the circuit as well. So we'll oops, I don't want a single race. Let's go with where's it gone? So livery select. We'll choose a different livery for this one. Maybe we'll go with nice kind of cyan and fluoro yellow look. Run with that. We'll go to another Grand Prix circuit. Hockenheim actually. Curious how that goes. Same class obviously is what we want. We'll do a quick fire lap race as well. And see how it goes. But yeah, so far so good actually. It feels very nice to drive, and it actually yeah, for a modern F1 car, which isn't normally my go-to car to drive, it's quite engaging. As you said, DCR work it's something that's kind of quite captivating. It actually makes you want to drive it more. It's actually quite nice. So here we go then. I think we are not qualifying, so we're just going to jump straight into it in P8. So let's see how this goes. So we'll stay in balance mode for the time being. Great start, but we managed to pull that back somehow. We found the sausage grub on the inside. Sorry. There's one thing it's following, but there's one other thing which is just completely rear-ending someone. Why are we in attack mode? I don't want attack mode. AI are quite aggressive by the looks of things. On the outside here, there's fast left right-hander. Inside there. Obviously we're trying to learn this car and the track as well, with this speed that we're going through some of these corners. I'm trying not to hit them, honestly. I'm aware that these cars are very expensive and fragile. So I think we have damage turned off. So let's see if we can go catch up in here. Turn 1 Hockenheim is so tricky. So new AI errors in this update. As in they fixed AI errors or they created some. DCR says Spielberg historic, the near chicane version, as I almost turned in too early for that corner, is nice, and Silverstone model, yeah. Try those out. We have caught up with them. I thought they were going to be way too quick for us, but we managed to catch the guy ahead. despite our very subpar driving. Oh dear. Well, he did catch up with them momentarily. Someone else to play with now. Oh, so the AI can make mistakes now. Ah, okay, right, gotcha. It's alright. Humans can make a bunch of mistakes as well by the looks of things. Okay, well, you can obviously follow because we were following a little bit, but I don't think I'll be racing them very much because it's just mad. Oh dear, I'll have to get used to that a little bit more. But car's good and definitely worth a try. So I think what we need to do now, go back to our test day where we're not going to do any damage to anyone else other than myself, and go check out the brand new Stock Car Pro Series. So I'll jump in the roller to start off with, and we'll go check out the brand new circuit at Galeao. Please, if I'm making the wrong pronunciation there, please let me know. Right. So, we've got one airport circuit in Automobilista 2 currently, which of course is Cleveland. This is another airport-based circuit. So expect big, wide, expansive runways, the need for a compass, and very flat. No elevation changes, but plenty of bumps. So that's what I'm expecting to find from this as well. But we'll give it a go, and we'll see what it's like. And of course, we're in the stock car, which is running right now, as someone mentioned earlier on. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Who mentioned that? I think it was. Yeah, I can picture your name, but I don't remember exactly what it is. So here we go. We're in some form of pit lane here at the airport. Let's have a look around and see what we've got to deal with here. So I can see there's some cones ahead of us there, so I think that is where we need to head first rather than just straight out onto the racing line, which I think is on the right, so we'll go this way. Limiter sounds are amazing on the V8. Okay, so we've got 100 boards, so this is obviously the track over here. So where are we going? I'm assuming this way because there's cones. This is the chicane section. Out on the bridge. The thing with these big wide expanses is it makes you feel like you're not actually driving particularly quickly, but you actually are. So the hairpin there. And now where are we going? You can get pretty much the whole field wide here, let alone 2 or 3. Going on here, so does this curve round to the right? I think it does. And that's the main runway, and then we're going off to the right again, just off the side. Not great, so because some boards. Another hairpin, and then this is supposedly running alongside where the pit lane was. Yeah, so it curves around here, and then we're back to that chicane. Okay. So obviously very, very basic in layout. Very keen on the track limits through there as well, by the looks of things. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people taking liberties through there, that's why they've been very precise with it. Onto the hairpin. This is very lively on the rear end. So I can see that this particular circuit is not really going to be one for just driving by yourself, because most of the time you're flat out and then you're braking for a hairpin, but it's not exactly a driver's circuit, I would say. Oops. It's the braking point by a country mile, because it's just so much concrete and tarmac everywhere. This one has boost. Yes, it does have push to pass, I believe. Right, through the chicane again. There's the cone that we knocked over last time. Where's the start line? There, under that bridge. Okay. Okay, well, it's not quite as involved as Cleveland. There's at least a few more corners on the Cleveland circuit compared to this, but I reckon this could make for some interesting racing, especially with people missing their braking points like I do for this hairpin. Again, running too deep into that. I keep thinking I've got to go over to the right hand side there to go left, but I don't because we're actually curving around to the right anyway. Trying to spot your apex points. Okay, so that's the layout. Let's see if we can just get a feel for our environment here. So, what I mean by that is, the track goes that way, but what happens if we go this way? Okay. We're not run into any invisible walls. Oh, there's a plane taking off. Very cool. Not sure what runway that's off because we're using the runway. Unless there's another one over here somewhere. How long does this go? There's an invisible wall. Direct drive users, I would encourage you not to go and explore the circuit layout. Oh, goodness me, that would be a wrist breaker. Let's go back to the picture. There's more to go and explore than that. So Kronos says, hi Kronos by the way, do you feel that the cars with the tyre carcass revisions, the former Ultimates and the 2020 stock cars, are now driving like you would expect them to in real life? Kronos says, feel a really stark difference between the non-revised tyre carcasses and the ones with. Now it doesn't allow you to drift, be fast. Okay, well we'll look into that a little bit more because I know they did make some changes to the tyre physics for the cars, so definitely coming out of the hairpins with a stock car around here, it does go sideways, but yeah, you do lose out a lot by doing that, so I'm just going to go and explore over this way a little bit. I can notice there's some hangars over here. Make sure we don't run into any more invisible walls, I don't think. Some planes. Private jets going on over here. I'm going to the hangar. Let's turn around that plane. Anything else around the side over here? It's just putting on the grass there, which I don't fancy doing. So if we go to the right here, go behind the main wall, grandstands on the right hand side, another plane, some more down there which we'll go and explore as well I reckon. It is cool how you can just go off and just drive around other than on the circuit. Probably the more interesting part of it, to be honest. I don't feel the track is particularly exciting, but we'll do a race on it and just see if that's any better. Ooh, hello. There's some small planes and some much bigger planes too. Can you drive under them? Yes, you can. That's a bit of Gymkhana action. Oops. Oh, they're not solid, that's good. Otherwise we would have just taken that propeller off. So we've got another big hangar under there, which got some interesting floating walls by the looks of things, not quite what I would expect. So here we go, another big plane there. Yes, we've gone around here. Some trucks, I'm assuming is where they keep all the race trucks. Obviously, the Formula stock car is not the ideal drift machine, but let's see what else we've got over here. Oops, I'm going to run into some grass in a second. There's a helicopter just sitting over here. Very nice. And got some more planes over there as well. There are plenty of planes at the airport, which is what you expect. So how far down this way can you go? It's actually quite an expansive area. I mean, we're much further out than the actual physical limitations of the track here, so I wouldn't put it past the guys at Rise, which would put some kind of Easter egg in here somewhere for people to find. I know they did with Cleveland. Got the runway lighting down there. Go down that way much further. Okay. I'll keep it straight on the grass if we can. I know this isn't technically sim racing, but we just thought we'd explore the circuit layout a little bit here just to see what else we can find. There we go. That's circuit lighting, and there's a building just over here somewhere. Where'd that go? It's one of the perimeter buildings. I mean, it's so huge. I mean, look how far down that is over there. I mean, if you went off at high speed and say Formula Ultimate Gen 2, you might have a bit of a job trying to find your way back again. Just bouncing over the grass here. More buildings. Not sure what that is. Let's go over this way. Oh, there's a road. That's helpful. Right. Yeah, over there, that's where the circuit actually is. We're miles off that. Oop, we're building in there. It's on the perimeter road currently. Plane taking off in the far distance. This might be quite a good location to do some high-speed tests with things such as Formula Ultimate, just to see how quick you can actually get it going in a straight line. Road there. Do a rally stage on the outside. That's up here. Another inset with some buildings and is there. I mean, you literally could spend ages just driving all around here. There's just so much to see, isn't there? Okay, let's actually do some driving with other cars on track. So Kronos also says, also if you haven't yet experienced porpoising in the new Formula F 2002, apparently it has a bug where it only happens on the wet tyres. Oh, okay. We did get a little bit of bouncing when we softened everything off, but nothing quite as dramatic as you see on some of the other cars. Let's take the stock car then, and this time we'll drive the Chevrolet. Which livery should we go with? Go with this one here, I reckon. Livery. And we'll do a race at the new airport circuit and just see how we get on with racing other cars around there. And we'll keep an eye out for the tyre carcass revisions as well and see what that's like to drive. And we'll go against some of the other ones. I think the old ones don't have the new revisions just yet, as far as I know. So, not expecting massive differences with the new stock cars compared to the old ones, really, in the grand scheme of things, but see how they race around this circuit and see how many cars wide we can get down the straight. So, obviously, it's, not going to be everyone's favourite track, this one. I can pretty much guarantee that now. But again, it's good because it brings the full season of the stock car series into a title, and that's one thing we do get with Automobilista 2. Obviously, iRacing has now got the Stock Car Pro Series on their service, but the only Brazilian track you get to play with there is Interlagos. You don't get to do any of the other Brazilian circuits at all. So here is the only way you can drive a full season of stock car racing on all the Brazilian and other tracks which are on that particular series. So here we go, starting P13. We're away. Okay, so the start line is actually before the chicane. But for some reason it was counting the laps as we passed underneath this gantry here. Right, so down to the first of the hairpins. See how they all managed to get through here, the AI. So far, quite orderly. Cars all over us in the mirrors. So here we go, down the straight, bit of slipstreaming going on. An awful lot of slipstream advantage actually. It's pulling us in slowly, but let's see if we can sneak up the inside here. So far, a reasonably clean lap. Don't know why he's hitting the brakes there, because that's completely flat out. So, car on the inside there, give him a bit of room. So, hanging out around the outside, okay. Got rounded up by two cars. Let's make 3 wide of the hairpin, shall we? Them back, so up to P8 now. Let's get the drafting going on here. Make a run into the next hairpin. Just a little bit late on the brakes, but also run on as well, so we'll probably get us back on the exit. Must have been a bit of a block pass and not allowed him the opportunity to get back at the inside because we were there. Held on to the place. Trying to thread the needle through there. It's quite quick. You don't want to be clipping the cones on the inside too much. Right, gentle on the top on the way out. So yeah, so obviously you've got two big hairpins which are very handy when it comes to overtaking. The rest of it's kind of just follow them through there, like the chicane section. The car's still easy enough to catch on the oversteer as well. So if it does go sideways, you can rein it back in again. Moving around a bit over the course there with a bit of understeer, but it's okay. Late to turn in. Still trying to get sideways on the exit. But we're much closer this time, so we'll use all the aero draft we can. Pull out. And we get ourselves up to P6 by next hairpin. We are now. Need to get the brakes on in a straight line for this hairpin, even though the track kind of moves off to the right. Dive on for P5 as well then. To the chicane. It's quite fun through there actually, just trying to balance the car. There's a bit of a bump on the inside of the second part of that chicane. Car moves around a little bit over that. A bit better out of there. Again, we're catching up with them reasonably easily. Saw the track on the way in. Right with them on the exit now. Let's see if we can actually make a move at the inside of the chicane. This could go horribly wrong, but we'll try anyway. Through. He's going to get back at us on the exit there. Here he comes. We managed to get him because that was the last lap. So we snuck P4 there at the very end of that. Yeah, I'll give me a little nudge because I'm slowing down too much on the cooldown lap. Okay, so racing wise then, yes, better to race than it is to drive on your own on this particular circuit. AI were quite varied actually. In some cases, there were, some were quicker than others in certain areas of the circuit. Tire carcass on that particular car does feel quite good. I think I'd need to test it on a track with more corners basically, and a little bit smoother as well, just to see what it's like trying to transition through different series of corners. Not many corners to test out the feel of the tire underneath you on there. But okay, so we have another circuit on the game, always welcome, and obviously, as I said, it goes along with simulating the full stock car series, which I'm all in favour of, and it's good that we have that option to do that. Probably not going to be first port of call when you fire the sim up every time, but hey, who knows? You may really enjoy it, and that's fine. That's the main thing, as long as you enjoy it. So let's try out the new stock car, but this time we're going to try it out at a more traditional circuit, should we say. So we'll go to I'm going to go to Cascavel actually, give this a try around there. We will do it in test state situation. Go, give that a try. One of my favourite circuits on the Brazilian circuit of the calendar of stock cars. It's a really fun track, this one. We'll see how the stock car drives around here. But so far, it feels pretty good. You need to be careful with the application. And this time it's anti-clockwise circuit rather than clockwise, like we had at the airport. It's so violent on the limiter. Okay, let's unleash V8. Quite tight on the inside here, so it's kind of feed it through nice and easily. Go over the line on the exits, and then we're free to go. There's also been some force feedback updates as well, which I'll have to check the notes on. Get Dad's here. I wonder if the clerk reported it as a bug when it happened in real life. It sounds like much more like Madison would actually rather good simulator. But yes, well, it's so far feeling pretty good. We'll test out the wet tyre line, see if that'll make it porpoise a bit more. We've got stone cold tyres on at the moment, so we'll reserve judgment on the feel of the tyres until they've warmed up, so do a few laps here just to add some heat. Now the 21 and the 22 era stock cars are actually different compared to the earlier versions in terms of how much they actually move around on track, so they aren't quite as grippy as the previous iterations. Still moving around a fair amount. The right side, as you can see on the tyres down there on the corner graphic, are warmed up nicely after that first corner. And they obviously will warm up quicker than the lefts around here because there are more left-handed corners, so the outsides are under much more load. The car does move around quite a bit. It's quite natural feeling when it moves around as well. It's not like it's just sliding for the sake of sliding. Difficult first corner here. You can feel it moving around quite a bit underneath you. The only right-hand corner in the circuit. Don't like it, because this one, if you call it a corner, it's flat out, but balancing it off the corner there with a little bit of right foot. He was sliding as we were trying to get the power down there, but easily controllable. I think with this particular car you're always going to be a little bit on edge in terms of trying to keep it under control. But as you were saying, Kronos, you can't just throw it sideways everywhere and expect to be quick. I think you do have to rein that in a little bit just to make sure that you're keeping the car in check. I think you can feel it a little bit better actually when it's moving around underneath. You feel the weight shifting and the tyre loading up. Once it started going too far, it was, you're never going to carry that momentum down the straight after that. Picking up the pace a little bit, so we're taking some time off our lap times. Through there. So tempting to just take that left-hander completely flat out, but it does leave you very much compromised for the right-hander straight afterwards, so maybe just a little bit of a confidence lift just to make sure we can get it over to the left-hand side to line up for the right-hander. Still rotates quite easily on the throttle, I would say. Not in terms of just being oversteery. What I mean is when you put the throttle down in the middle of a corner. So I'm turning it in here, and it's kind of washing out. But I'll do it again in the slow corners and demonstrate it through there because you can counteract some of that washout with a bit of right foot. So get through turn one. Right, so into this next couple of corners here, I'll demonstrate it. So have our brakes into there. So the car's kind of pushing on a little bit too much throttle that time round, but if you feel it's not quite connecting with the inside of the corner, you can just apply this ever so slight amount of throttle. We'll bring it round. Definitely more noticeable in that last corner that just went through there. trick is not to put too much throttle on, otherwise you will lose out on the exit. Yeah, okay, so it's quite impressive. Let's just gonna do a quick check of the notes here, just to see. So yeah, so further updates to stock car tyre carcass and tread. I don't know whether that includes the previous iteration. So revised tyres for stock car Corollas 2021 and 22 models. So yeah, it includes all of them. So we can't go back and try out the other ones. Yeah, so it's stiffening of tyre carcass and then more accurate damping rates as well, which I've gone on to that. So yeah, stock cars feel nice to drive. You have to be quite careful with them, but nonetheless, very nice to drive. Let's try those wet tyres on the Formula Ultimate then. Let's just see what happens. We'll go to Silverstone this time. There you are. Go to Silverstone, go up here. The Formula Ultimates. I do feel like we've had an awful lot of single-seaters released for AMS2 recently. There's an awful lot of them on here, but I'm sure that'll change at some point soon. Okay, let's go and try this out. I've also seen quite a lot of people online mentioning that they're not too pleased with the way they're adding one car in a series or two cars in a series and not really populating the rest of the similar type class cars. And I kind of understand that to a degree, but at the same time, you know, the guys at Riser, they have their plan for the title, and they're putting out whatever content they want to put out for it. And to be honest, we're extremely lucky to get how much we actually do get from these guys. And every time we get something new, it is quality. So it's not like we're losing out of losing out in quality with all these new cars. So put the wets on, and it happens. Nice shredded wet tyres on our bone dry Silverstone circuit. We're already bouncing. Whoa! It's rather interesting, actually, isn't it? Oh, it's lots of side to side bouncing going on. Let's visit down the straight. Wow, that's very different, isn't it? Even on the wets, there's still a fair amount of grips we have, but we've got the head set to the horizon, so it's not affecting the vision. You can see the car moving around an awful lot. Oh, it's quite unstable too. Which you have actually seen with some of the cars when they're trying to get their heads around this porpoising issue. Cars in real life have been quite a handful. Bouncy bounces as well, so yeah, no kidding. Like a bouncy castle at the moment. Expecting it to do a flip. Yeah, we're off. Okay, so that's some seriously unstable driving dynamics right there. Not recommended for being the quickest way around Silverstone, I will be honest. We'll go to the pit box and we'll put the tyres back to what they should be. Well, on automatic, so we don't get caught out with dry tyres on a wet track. So here we go, let's see how it goes in terms of comparison. So here we are. Just to prove to you that Silverstone is actually a decent smooth circuit. It's not as bouncy as the wet tyres made it seem. Busy15, hey, how's it going? Good, thank you. Welcome along. Welcome to the channel. Just trying out some of the new content for AMS2, and loving it so far. Oops. Sometimes the dry wet tyres in wet conditions. The airflow normally is in the wet tyres and dry. Good call. We might throw some rain out on the track and see if the wet's coming back. That's it. Missing all apexes through your maggots and brackets. Thankfully, the Formula Ultimate is seriously capable of staying on track without making an apex do that. I'm curious actually to see whether we've still got our suspension at soft as it's gone, because I don't know whether it saves the setup from last time. Let's just check that. Yeah, it does. So there we go. Reset to defaults. It was still bouncing a little bit, so that's why I was kind of thinking about it. Let's try it again. That's already feeling a lot better, albeit going off track. So that's much smoother. Silverstone has just had an iron applied to it. Hopefully this time we might be able to get through maggots and brackets safely. Yeah, so Mike's too quiet compared to the game. I'll put that back down again as well, just to improve that for you guys. Thank you for letting me know. And the speakers down a bit more. There we go. Formula Ultimate is particularly loud as well, so hopefully this should be better for you guys. Turn it down in my ears as well. There we go. Racing, how are we doing? Welcome along. Some Stowe corner. So much grip through there, down towards the club. Avoid the enormous sausage curves on the inside. I think that's a bit better for you guys in terms of the sound. I feel like it was still bouncing a little bit as we were going around the fast left-hander there as well. Not dramatically so, but you just feel it through the steering wheel just a little bit, force feedback. Again, when you get this onto a proper Grand Prix circuit, it really does flow very nicely indeed. Cops is not that quick. That's it. It's on. Let's build some battery up again. Go full mode. Just about held on to it. I had a little bit of a lift just to make sure we got into there. tail happy moment out of the hairpins. Not too deep into it. Brooklyn's and then we're off. Well, that was quite a quick few corners there. Racing says these things are too fast for me. Anything over an F4, my eyes are too slow. They are rather quick. You just gotta keep up with it, and it's not easy to do. Absolutely, challenge just to pick things out at that kind of speed. You have to look far ahead. Absolutely, got to look as far ahead as possible and plan ahead as well. This car in VR, ouch. Yeah, I can imagine that'd be truly mind bending in VR. Okay. Pete Vic subscribe. Welcome. Thanks, Pete. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate that. Welcome to the Sim Racing Bible crew. It's good to have you with us. Okay, so what should we do? Let's go have another quick browse of some notes here just to read out some things so you guys can see them. So, the force feedback adjusted counter steer and oversteer damping compensation. So it does feel different actually when you are applying counter steer. Minor FFP adjustments to Formula Retro Gen 1 and Formula Ultimate. I did see something about, where was it? Physics. Oh no, that was the Formula Ultimate I saw. Vehicles. A lot of it is down to revised drive animations as well. So they've changed the drive animations for the cars, which I did notice a while back, where they actually the kart drivers, the animations were actually, they're trying to do they're steering like they were doing a 900-degree steering lock when really it should just be that. So I don't know if that's changed or not. But okay, so just minor little tweaks here and there with a lot of things. So let's see what else we can take to the. We'll go to another race, but we'll. Oh no, let's try driving this thing around the new airport track, shall we? See how that goes. Single race with that. Formula Ultimates. And go to the Galeao Airport. Oh no, you wanted to? Yeah, we'll do that next. Actually, DSM Dad. We'll try the wets in the wet. We'll do that at Silverstone. We'll do a quick race around here and just see how this goes. So catching up with you guys. So Master Loser says, I found reducing clutches to 2 should be great for the oversteer on power. Okay. Yep. We've not dived into the setup properly at all. We had a look at it and thought, not going to do any more with that right now. But yeah, that definitely would help. The GSM does this on the same race. Anything over a GT4 and my flat cap flies off. Gentleman driver, read slow. Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with gentleman drivers. It's all about enjoying it. That's what it's all about. Marty says, driver animations changed on your beloved Fusca as well. Oh, well. I'll give that a go. Some good news with that. We're working on something. We're hoping to be able to put something on for you guys in terms of a series with Fuscas coming up very soon, involving SimRacing GP, the SimRacing GP platform. But more on that as that develops. So exciting news. Racing says MS2 seems to me to be almost there on the sim side. Desperately need some sort of ranked hosted racing, even if it's with a third party like LFM. Okay, actually that kind of goes along with it. It's not really ranked as such, I don't think, but SimRacing GP will have Automobilista 2 implementation very soon. So we're looking forward to doing some of that. Okay, so here we go. We didn't do so well when we raced these cars at Hockenheim, so I'm not expecting any massive improvements here. Regardless, let's try not rear end some more F1 cars this time around. A little bit of a precursor for the Las Vegas race, but without the neon lights. I don't think there's any DRS zones mapped, so we won't have that to deal with, but so here we go. 207 kilometers an hour. I think it's a mile actually. Dive bomb and a half. Yeah, I am on miles per hour on the right hand side. Dash is in kilometers an hour. Oh, that's ridiculously quick through there. I was too careful. As were the guys behind getting frustrated with me. Ooh, we've got some errors ahead. Ooh. Oh, I picked up a cone. It'll affect my aero. Yeah, so we had an error ahead, so the cars got into each other a little bit going to turn 2, 3, I guess that would be. Stuttery, but here we go. So we must be on some kind of automatic deployment because it's shifted from balanced. Let's sort that out. Shifted from balance to attack mode. It's just gone back to balance again now, so it will automatically do that for you. You can change it if you feel it's not what you need at that particular point. We're a bit of no man's land here. We've got big gaps front and behind. Let's try and see if we can get that chicane sorted this time around. The racing says these airport tracks are great fun. Just need the main one out. This is seething. Yeah. Oh, that's quick. If anything, this airport track is more fun in this car, and probably the same in the champ cars because you're not stuck on the straight for so long. You actually get down the straights much faster and then you're into the corners again, so the quicker the car, the more fun it is. I don't know whether the chicane's actually going to be flat out. Let's try it. Just hold our breath and just try and be accurate. No, it's not flat out. Worth a try. We'll give it a go. For the wrap of the race director later. Last lap, we've got a bunch of boost, so let's go full quali mode. Using all the track into there. What series we normally race here? This is the Brazilian Stock Car Pro Series we'll be racing here, and they're actually racing here this weekend, so we've got it just in time for the real race this weekend, which is very cool. With a traffic jam at the hairpin. Okay, so things spread out a little bit there for us in terms of that race, but it was significantly more successful for us in terms of not running into another car than we had at Hockenheim, so count that one as a win. So Matthias, Rise mentioning another few years work still to do on MS2, which is a good sign. Yeah, I think they're not giving up on it just yet. There's still plenty more that they're going to be doing, and I think they've been trying to be a bit more open with how they communicate the progress. So obviously we know that there's still another Racing USA pack to be released, which was originally marked as last year, or end of last year as a release, but obviously things have happened and delays have happened and things, so that's going to be coming this year now. But you know, they're still a small team essentially, but they are working incredibly hard to bring us content. So full credit to the guys. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's try the wets on the wet track as well. So we'll go to the Nürburgring this time. We'll do the Nordschleife as well. This is a little challenge, I think. Let's do that on there. Set the weather forecast to... I don't want to go to a storm. I think this is going to be too much. We'll just do rain. Then we're going GP. Yeah, load into that. There we go. Racing says, did anyone see that info pop up about Rensport sim on Race From Me? Yes, so there's a new sim which has suddenly surfaced from somewhere. I don't know the full backstory of it, but usual kind of quotes out there, we're going to make this even more of a sim, which, obviously you would do if you were trying to branch out into that market. But I mentioned something which kind of intrigued me about, which was fuel. So I don't know quite what they're thinking of with that, whether they're thinking of you have to pay for fuel in terms of bringing it more to real life, so you have to pay for damage or pay for fuel out of some in-game currency. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. But anyway, the more titles we have to play with, the better. So see how that goes. Walker Anderson says, "Why ouch to this current VR, Marty? I'm loving it." Just think I might overload my old man brain. Yeah, it would be quite a lot to compute. Okay, so let's just make sure we have those automatic by weather, so it should be wet tyres. And of course we have the wet weather to go with it. So let's see whether the porpoising remains in the wet. Here we go then. There hasn't been the mad side-to-side shaking just yet. Just going to take this easy because I'm aware of how much power we have available to us and how little grip there will be on the wet surface. There is still some side-to-side bouncing as we go into corners there. Yeah, there it's still there. Mostly through the corners, actually, if anything. Don't go too quickly, too fast. Otherwise you run off track. Just try and build up the speed slowly. Top tip for you there. Don't do what I'm doing. That's what happens. Okay, so porpoising wise and bouncing wise, not as bad as it was on the dry track. And also we are going a little bit slower because of the conditions, so see what happens down here. Quickest part of the circuit. Oh yeah, it's still bouncing an awful lot. Yeah, it's almost tramping in a horizontal way rather than front to back. Lateral tramping, should we say, rather than longitudinal tramping. It's quite weird actually feeling it through the steering wheel. It's just this constant vibration as you're going through corners. No DRS, of course, because we are in wet conditions. Surprisingly, still quite a good amount of grip in the wet. Maybe I stopped a bit earlier for an hairpin this time. Towards the Schumacher S this time. Attempt not to go off into the gravel. We managed to do that, but we certainly didn't find the apex. River going across the road there. It's a wasn't watching where I was going properly. I was too busy watching the chat there. Made what was a very simple corner slash kink in the straight become a bit more challenging. So, hey Bruder, Bruder's here. The Velvet Halo looks like a beach song. Yeah, like a jandal, yeah. Oops. You know what, I've actually kind of gotten used to the fact that there's a halo there now. I know we all probably complained bitterly when we first saw the halos thinking, oh, you know, it's just ruined the look of the single-seaters, but I'm now so used to seeing them that you almost don't realise they're there. Grip level is certainly decreasing. I think the track's getting a little bit wetter. And rear tyres is looking rather cooked too. All this sliding over slow corners, which is doing that. Ooh, saved it. Going over the bumps certainly exacerbates the bouncing effect. Again. We got some lift off there. We set the advertising board absolutely flying. Okay, replay required of that. So GSM does. So I thought it was interesting when I read that no F1 team got this when simulating. Yeah. That was the previous lap's excursion through there. Yeah, so they didn't have any kind of experience of porpoising in their simulations until they actually got the car on track, which is quite interesting as well. You can see it bouncing around like crazy through the corners, don't you? So Racing says, that bouncing reminds me of driving rental carts. Just karting last weekend in London, I did exactly that on corners. Yes, they're very stiff as well with no form of suspension, so it's just taking out the cones, don't mind me. The Halo is fine in VR. Let's look straight past it, yeah. You do, even with the screen, I'm finding I'm actually looking beyond the Halo, not really focusing on it at all. I know some sims kind of have a weird situation where they make it semi-transparent. You can still see it, but you can see through it, which is supposed to simulate how your eyes would adapt to it, but they don't do it. It's fine. You still don't really focus on it. There we go. Through the hairpin we go. Car looks good. It's got its rain lights on as well, which looks nice on the uprights, on the angle. Made it through the Schumacher S in one piece that time. still a big wobble on the exit. Right. Yeah. Exterior sounds are very nice. You like them. But here we go then. Time for liftoff. There's some big bumps in that gravel trap. Which is not really where you want to be anyway, but okay. So wet tyres still has that bouncing effect. What happens if, despite it being a wet track, we decide, nah, we're not going to go out on wets. Give me some soft slicks. It's not time for wets just yet. Let's see if that bouncing effect is still going. It's quite a thin halo on this one anyway, so it doesn't actually interfere with it too much. The name of the game here being survival, I reckon. It's actually a fair amount of grip. Yeah, there's still an element of bouncing through the corners. Just not as pronounced as it is with the wet tyres. However, I do feel on this wet surface, these slick tyres, stone cold slick tyres at that, just a little bit too much grip. I shouldn't be able to go this quickly in the rain on slicks. I mean, sure, we're going to do things like that, but for one, you wouldn't even be able to get the power down very well, and going through some of these fast corners, you would just go straight on. I mean, there was more grip there going through the Schumacher S than there was on the wets. So not quite right there. We know the softs are very grippy, but shouldn't be that grippy, not on this soaked circuit. It actually feels like it's quicker on the slicks than it was in the wets. So we'll do a lap. It is a little bit more slidey now as we get into the braking zones and things. Try and neaten things up. I'm not going too quickly. Yeah, so the rear's definitely not happy in the wet with slicks on, but the front does feel like it's got too much bite. In fact, you can save it that easily as well, because when the car goes sideways in the slip, in the rain on slicks, you wouldn't really be able to save it that easily and power slide out of it. Because you put more power on, and you just go sideways even more. Well, we just went quicker, even with lifting up before the finish line. We went 7/10 quicker than we did in the wet, so okay, some potential issues there. Right, so let's try this out then. Let's drive this new F1 car around the Nordschleife. We did a lap around the Nordschleife just recently in the race room in the shopping trolley, which is probably the lower end of of sim racing vehicles. Let's go to the absolute pinnacle of sim racing vehicles and try a lap around the Nordschleife. I expect it to be a very different feel than it was in the shopping cart. Right. I'll actually do this in time trial mode, so we can get a flying start at it. Ring Nordschleife. Go to Ultimate Gen 2. Not available for the leaderboards for this particular combination, apparently. So I'm not going to get a lap time on the board, but it's all about trying it out anyway, so that's all good. The board says, how do you find the gear ratios? So far, okay. I've not experienced too much in terms of any flat spots anywhere within the gears and the rev ranges or the corners. 8th gear tends to go a little bit flat at the top end. That's obviously geared to have DRS involved as well. So, yeah, they seem okay to me. Do you find them not quite right? Racing says they did mention in the beta forums that the default setup was very much geared towards being drivable. You'd need to adjust it to go fast. Yeah, I mean, it is reasonably drivable. It's not really too much of a difficult thing to drive around track. But yeah, I'm sure once you start tinkering with the setup, you can gain more speed, but also will become a bit more edgy as well. Right, so here we go then. Let's go take the Formula Ultimate Gen 2 for a lap of the Nordschleife. All of a sudden, much more grip. That wasn't a grip issue, that was a driver issue. Let's try that again. This time without braking too late and downshifting into a downhill corner. Eyes on stalks as we go through the Nordschleife in this car. That's quickly there. Pull onto your hats and your lunch, everybody. This is going to be mad. Will we get lift off at the top of the flute flats? Nope. Whole heap of grip as we turn in too late. Again, no DRS available, but we are using the energy. I'm surprised they haven't actually allowed this to have records set around here, because I'm sure a lot of people will be looking to do something like that. Fly that through here. Easy. Oops. Stops. Then we get first gear. There we go. Maybe a little over-ambitious trying to take speed into there. But okay, we'll carry on. My poor brains is Marty. I'm sorry, Marty. I apologise. Lucky for you, you just got to sit there and attempt to relax as I try and drive this thing around here. That through the kink? Yep. Again, this is a good exercise in vision. See as far ahead as you possibly can. Even with our off, we are still significantly quicker than the shopping cart last time around. I was thinking through that. I need to stretch the legs up the hill here. Slowing down, actually going up here. Quite a lot. That's D rate. Wow, that's a big deceleration. Into the carousel then. My ground effect F1 cut. Well, didn't manage to keep it down on the low side, but we'll try again next time round. We're still on balance setup as well. We haven't got the madness of the full qualifying mode. That's monstrously quick through there. YouTube corner in a flash. And towards the jump. What jump? Again. Oh, let's jump there. Just hold on. Another thought that's just come into my brain. Obviously we have iRacing, and they have the Mercedes W12 Formula 1 car. And I know there was a big hot lap competition going on with all of the simracing YouTube content creators trying to get the fastest lap around the Nordschleife driving the F1 Mercedes. I know they've got a couple of Mercedes in the works to release for iRacing, and I wonder what they're thinking about with the new W13. Not quite gone the way they wanted it, has it? But supposedly that's supposed to be coming as well. Right, let's go full quali mode. I think we damaged it on the wall. Actually, I think damage is on time trials. Oh dear. Right. So again, I'm kind of enjoying that actually. Right, go for a proper lap with full mode on. Flat out through that. Madness. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Turning at the top of blue flats that time. See what kind of lap time we can get out of this, I wonder. Well, we used up an awful lot of our battery. Not quite geared up for doing battery runs around the Nordschleife. Oh dear. Yeah, that's one way to wear you out. Okay, so that's quite fun actually, driving it around the Nordschleife. I know I haven't never had an actual lap time there, but pretty fun. I'll save your brains. You can go try that for yourself and see what you think. But, that's pretty fun. I know some people were thinking what it's going to be like to drive around Monaco, so maybe we give that a go next, shall we? Go try Monaco out. Right. As Euro circuit. Tested that around Monaco. So leaderboard seems to be disabled for the car. It's not just that particular combo around the Nordschleife. So why that is. Okay, right. Well, this is going to be interesting to see how this goes around here. Low speed corners, it's quite active, and in the rear end, it's moving around an awful lot. So plenty of slow speed corners to be dealing with here. And we'll see how it goes. DRS here as well. Thread it all the way through the barriers here at Monaco. Catch the outside a little bit. Very much point and squirt through this section. Too late. Again. I think we were carrying a bit of damage actually because the steering was slightly right hand down. Let's try and do that without hitting a wall. I've already done so, never mind. Right. The hill we go to Casino Square. There's a save going through that. Corners come up at you so quickly. I seriously dislike that chicane. I understand why it's there. Well, that's a bit of a wild ride around that. Too early. Gotta do that. Crunch. Crunch. It's very full on lap. Lots going on. 113 with a couple of wall taps. 113 and a half. Oof. Wouldn't want to keep that up for a full Grand Prix distance. It's just tense. Right. Okay. Well, let's just have a bit of a recap here. So, as far as new content's concerned, obviously we've driven a lot of the Formula Ultimate, not so much the stock cars, but we have driven them. Formula Ultimate Gen 2 then. Again, a very good quality add-on for AMS2. Driving feel-wise, yeah, in the dry on slicks, yeah, very, very good indeed. You can definitely sense there's an awful lot of grip available. Then in slow corners, you still have to drive it off corner without trying to be too greedy with the throttle. But yeah, quite a nice car to drive. There's a few issues, obviously, when you put the wet tyres on, which I'm sure the guys will address if need be. But yeah, overall, the car's very nice indeed. Very nice to drive. The stock cars, again, very, very impressive. The new tyre carcass work that they've done on it, as mentioned by one of the guys earlier on, saying that you don't just drift the car to go fast anymore. Yeah, I can see that. You do lose out a bit more if you do go too sideways with those cars, but on the limit, going through corners and balancing the car through the corners, it does feel very nice indeed with the new tyres. So quite rewarding to drive actually, and good to race as well. The new circuits at the airports is an acquired taste, maybe better in the quicker cars than in the slower cars. But that was the case with the Cleveland circuit as well. So if you take the slower cars around there, they're still going to be not quite as fun as the quicker stuff. But yeah, just for the sheer size of the map, even for the airport track, and that you can go off and explore and drift around airplanes and things. Yeah, worth just for that, just to go and have a look around and have some fun with it. So yeah, some interesting new content once again coming from the Riser Studios guys, and good to have the season of the 22 stock cars fully implemented in the title as well. So all in all, a good update as per usual, as you would expect. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up our thoughts on the new update. Hope you guys have enjoyed that, and hope you enjoyed driving these cars as well, as we've had a couple of days now to get used to them. But as ever, thank you very much for your joining us this evening and for your participation, your comments and things. We really do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching our streams. But stay tuned. We'll be doing something exciting very soon. And I'd like to say more about it, but I can't just yet. So we'll release that information in due time. But definitely be some Fusker action coming your way very soon as well, I would like to think. But yeah, so overall, thank you very much once again for joining us. We will be back very, very soon for another live stream. But until then, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.